Texting. We are back, America. How did do? It is a man up. It is a man up Monday here in the SAC. The redoubtable one has returned. The highly questionable one, segment 1, New York Knicks season recap. Look, this is his segment. I'm going to give him the floor. He's had 24 hours to digest everything, hear a lot of the crap, which I'm sure he's going to unload, and he should, because given what I've heard, it's justified. But without further ado, the redoubtable one, the Knicks go down Game 7. To say they were shorthanded might be the understatement of the year, but we're going to let Tom take it from there and just give us now that you've had 24 hours to listen to all the shit and everything else.
I really haven't sought it out, though.
No, I'm not saying you haven't, but look at,
I've kind of went into a hole.
But I think, and again, I want him to talk, but I tell you what, this is coming from a Boston fan, and by the way, you'll probably never hear this again. But that team, they got something special there. If they keep it together, they add a couple of pieces, and they can stay healthy, I'm telling you right now, that team next year is a contender. As it is.
It won't be that.
I'm not saying it won't be that. I'm saying right now, as it is, they are a contender. They come back healthy. They got to add a piece or two. It's not what you think. It's more like just shore up certain areas. But with that, that's my assessment of it. That's a Boston fan talking. And believe me, they were the team that I was really, really, really worried about. And that was missing 3 guys. Anunoby was healthy. So with that, Tom, give us your, after going into the hole for 24 hours, having some time to reflect on the here, the now, the big picture, the small picture, everything else. Where are we at here 24 hours later?
All right, so I think most people are aware of a grief curve. And, some people might say, don't you dare make a mockery of death. But with sports losses, playoff losses, there is a grief curve for fanatics. Yeah. Okay, and I happen to be a fanatic. So the thing is, I don't think I've went into denial. Denial is typically a stage in grief. I went into anger and blame. I blame the team first, which I'm trying to let go of because I know they did everything they could. So I'm trying to let go of that. But the negative fucking Northeast sports fan in me wants to harp on that. But I think I'm going to be able to let it go because I really do believe that they played great for them. They got as far as they could with the situation and the injuries. Even though there's that other side of me that feels like, man, if they hadn't done some of the dumb shit they did, turnover-wise, free throw missing-wise, blowing a lead in that third game, even though they were down OG, they were up 9 in the fourth quarter. Like, I find myself thinking about those things, saying, like, we could have won this. And maybe that's the denial. Maybe that's the denial in me. Because the truth is, and I think you're trying to make me see this, they just didn't have the manpower to do it. And if that's the truth, then maybe me thinking they could have won if they had done a few different things here. Maybe that is the denial. Okay, so right now I'm in the denial stage. Let's just update it to that. Eventually, hopefully, I'll be in the reflection stage, and I can look back on the season. I mean, their series against Philadelphia is going to go down as one of my favorite sports series of all time. Yes, I wish they would have followed it up with a championship, but the truth is, I never thought that was going to lead to a championship. I thought at best it was conference finals. So it's still a special series because they won it. I hate that they lost to Indiana and that Halliburton now thinks he's the shit. And everybody on that team kind of thinks they conquered this beast of the New York Knicks when it was not at full strength. But I also hate being one of those people that's just going to point to injuries forever. I mean, they beat us. They were a 6 seed. We were a 3. So, I feel like we should have beat them, but whatever. Didn't. Halliburton wore the sweatshirt, the hoodie with the Reggie Miller choke picture on it, which I thought was fucking weak.
Yeah, I don't want to touch on that.
Because my thing is like, okay, let's say I'm going up against like a really good boxer, okay? And a week before the boxer like snaps his ankle, but he still decides to fight me. And he can barely move, and I just and I don't knock him out. I don't knock him out. He's on one foot, but I don't knock him out. I take him to a 15-round split decision, and I beat him.
Yep.
I'm not talking shit like I'm the greatest in the fucking fight world, because I beat a guy with a broken foot. So I thought that was kind of weak, But they did go into Madison Square Garden and win a Game 7, which isn't easy. I kind of wish we hadn't started OG Anunoby, because I don't know. I think it actually did something weird to the energy. Now, I missed most of the time with OG in the game because our daughters had a soccer game, and then this guy needed a fucking medicine ball from Starbucks. Okay, for his wife. By the time I get home, all I could see was OG Anunoby walking up the court like he needed a walker. Now, apparently he hit his first 2 shots. But by the time I got in, I was watching him try to limp across the floor to guard a Halliburton 3, and he was 10 feet away, and Halliburton nailed it. And I immediately texted you, why the fuck is OG playing right now?
Yep.
But I also got to give that guy credit. You know what I'm saying? He obviously shouldn't have been on the court, and he said, fuck it, I want to try to help. You got to love guys like that. And that's the whole team. The whole team is that. Jalen Brunson wasn't 100% healthy. He fucked his foot up, and he was not the same after that. Now, in Game 5, it almost felt like he was back. I don't know if they doubled up the shot, the numbing shot on that day. But in Game 5, when he dropped 44?
Yeah, it was 44.
He looked like Brunson again. But after that foot injury, he could not use his leverage anymore. He loves to bang against the little guards. He couldn't do it. He even struggled to go past Nembhard yesterday. Was that his name? Nembhard. And he was just abusing him early in the series.
When he was healthy, he was.
Games 1 and 2? Yeah. Even later in the series he did. So probably, Nembhard maybe made an adjustment yesterday. Also, to your point, Jalen was out of gas.
He was out of gas.
I hate the fact that he broke his hand because they didn't get to give him an ovation when he came off the court.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, that he didn't come back out.
That was fucking sad. I wish he would have come back out because he deserved to see the fans and walk off.
More than anyone.
Yeah.
Changed.
He deserved that.
He literally changed that team. He has changed that team.
A fucking point guard, an undersized guy.
Yep.
Who everybody says, oh, he's not a number 1, he's not a 1A.
Southpaw.
Yes, lefty.
Southpaw.
Not your most athletic dude.
No.
But fucking heart of steel, man.
They I'm sorry, keep going.
I mean, no, you can come in on this conversation. I've been kind of blabbering.
No, I wanted you to. This is your team, and you're a diehard. I mean, you I think have. I don't think you're the only person that feels this way today, who's a Knicks fan. And honestly, I get it. I totally get it.
But it's also weird because
like,
the fandom has been turned off for so long. So like part of me feels a little fake because I left them for so long, but like they kind of left us too. Like that, the last 20 years have been embarrassing. And when you move to Virginia, the Knicks aren't just on when they suck.
No, so it's hard to find.
In the 90s, they were on all the time.
And to be on nationally, you got to be good.
Exactly.
So,
dude, there was years stretches of time where the Knicks didn't get on TV. I remember when they finally got Marbury and they were on TV. Yeah. And it was like, holy shit, this is the first Knicks primetime game. And I was like,
they were, and they're one of the old school programs. So, no, the league is better when they're good. It's true. They're one of those franchises.
So I really thank all the people involved in making this team it's something for us to get behind now.
I'm telling you, they are.
Tibbs is in on it. Leon Rose is in on it. The other guy, Worldwide West, is in on it. And then all the players, everybody they got is a fucking. They go after that shit and they leave it all out there. I mean, they don't give a fuck how it happens.
They are, and again, this is coming from a Boston fan who can't stand all things New York, and this team is on the top of that list. The organization, but again, it's the Boston New York thing. I get that's fine, but this team is frighteningly likable from a Boston perspective. And the thing about it is, they bring the attitude and the intensity and the passion every night that I wish my team would do once a week. My team wins on talent. Okay, and I have personally been in games where we beat a more talented team because we were tougher than them mentally and fun. We were better fun and we were tougher, and we didn't give a shit how talented we were going to outplay them, and we did. So I've been on the side of that as a player and a coach. That is a real thing. Okay, and the Knicks have that like a motherfucker. And I don't know of a team that has as much of it as they do, because honestly, and here's the thing, and I've been doing this in my head ever since Anunoby went down. Because when he went down to me, now I'm taking inventory. Now I'm really thinking about it. I'm putting on my RJ special cap, the one where he really digs in and goes, fuck everybody, I'm going to find the facts. Here are the fucking facts. When you compare this to, say, the Boston Celtics, what they were going through would be the equivalent of us losing Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no, not Peyton Pritchard.
No, Derek
White. Derek fucking White. So let me just back up. The equivalent of this in Boston would be Jaylen Brown, okay, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and fucking Derek White.
It's true.
Let that sink in, America. Because this is why I hate that I love this team. Because they were one game from the conference finals, and they were playing the number one offense in the NBA. They basically were a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, and there was 2 people left out of 150, and they were one of them. That's what it felt like. They just out-toughed everybody in the room, but eventually just lack of manpower.
Yeah.
And J.J. Redick being, and see where I get ticked off at J.J. Redick. He's such a donkey. To bring it further full circle, this is another reason why I have admiration for this team. They remind me of someone. And J.J. Redick, you are such a donkey. Don't ever come. I hope you and I get in a room one day. Just fucking, I'll go analytical. He said, I have never seen or heard of a playoff team of this level, of this kind of talent, this potential, this injury-riddled and standing where they're standing. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, what a donkey. Because the reason I love that, I hate that I love this team is they remind me of the 1987 Boston Celtics. When this literally was the last time I saw this happen. Kevin McHale, broken foot. Robert Parrish, sprained ankle. Bill Walton, out. Okay? Danny Ainge, out. Literally. 4 of their top 7 players are out or limping or can't move. And Jalen Brunson was their catalyst. Larry Bird was like, no, get on my fucking, we're not going down. Like Robert Parrish says in the video, we're going down.
How far they go?
They got Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Wow.
Magic, if it wasn't for Magic's hook on a bad call because he shouldn't have got the shot, they would have gone 7. They would have gone 7. This Knicks team is the closest thing I've seen to that since that. And that's instantly what came to my mind.
They didn't get to the finals.
No, but again, you're not, again, Larry Bird is Larry Bird, and Brunson's great. He's not him, okay, but he's great. And maybe one day maybe he could become, or get to that level. But Bird's an icon. He's not there yet, no. But I mean, he's ascending. He is ascending, but he's also 6'1". Bird was 6'10". So it's like he's the best little man in the game. But at the end of the day, he's the best little man in the game.
I really
and he
hope
was short
this doesn't
weapons.
continue to happen to him.
I don't think it will.
Because the way he plays so hard every night.
I'll tell you why it won't.
And he's always on the floor. I don't want his body to break down.
I'll tell you why it won't. Because, as I said a couple weeks ago, New York is going to be a destination franchise. They're going to get people. They're going to get talented veterans that have done everything but get that ring, and they want that ring, and they want to come to a realization.
Who's that?
The Knicks are going to get that.
Right, who?
I don't know off the top of my head who. I don't even know what free agency starts, but we'll revisit it again after the season's over.
Okay.
I
thought you were saying.
No, I'm saying that people are going to want to go there. Quality, talented players are going to want to go there and be a part of that. Because America fell in love with this fucking team. I'm not kidding when I say that.
A lot of NBA players. They don't like Tibbs.
They don't like Tibbs, but they're soft, and they are soft.
Well, that's not who we want anyway.
No, you don't want those guys.
We want the guys that
you
are
want
like,
the guys
fuck
that
yeah,
are in that locker room.
that.
Okay? And you want to find 1 or 2 that match that.
The tough part is OG's unrestricted.
They'll pay him.
Isaiah Hartenstein unrestricted.
Well, what's he going to demand? He's a backup. He's a quality backup.
For us the whole year.
He did, but I mean, That's a look at the
I'm not saying he's worth like $30 million a year. Look, some random team could give him high money.
But first of all, what random team would give him that kind of money?
I don't know.
He's a solid player. He's a good player. He's not an all-star.
He might get a lot of money though.
He's not an all-star.
I didn't say he was.
He shouldn't get all-star money.
And
by the way,
$20 million.
If there's a team, no, it's actually you're like 30 plus.
Is all-star?
If you're an all-star, you're making probably 30 plus, unless you're on your rookie deal. But if you're in your second contract, yeah, you're an all-star.
Yeah, but like Jalen Brown's making like 60 a year, right?
Brunson was 4 years at 93.
No, I'm talking about Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown was 5 years. 5 years.
60 million?
At 304 is the total. So it's like.
Is he making 50 million?
50 plus, 50 something a year.
So an all-star has to be making 30?
No. I'm saying that's the average. That's the ballpark they're in. They're not going to give. No one's paying him $30 million a year. No one is.
I thought that.
And by the way,
I thought that was.
If there is an organization that dumb,
no,
they'll be in last place.
So what? Like 15 million? Like what's expensive for? Because
I'd
people
say
are
for
saying
him,
he's going to be outpriced. So what is expensive?
15 to 20
would be too much.
In that range would be okay. Over 20, no, he's not worth over 20. 15 to 20, yeah.
See,
because he's a good player. He's not. He's a step below an all-star.
Yeah, he's not.
If an all-star averages around the 30s, 20 is probably where he should be.
He played the perfect role for the Knicks.
He did, and I'm just saying. But I don't see a team.
Yeah, you're not.
All offering that kind of money. And if by the way, if they allocate that much money to him, you need your head examined.
But all I'm trying to say is, it sounds like he could get overpriced because of the playoff run.
And he has to make a decision.
Yeah.
For 2 more or 3 more million a year, do I want to go to fucking some loser? Because by the way, this will be a loser team that does this.
Oh no,
okay?
I don't know about that. Yeah. Might be a team that just needs a piece. Needs a big.
You're not getting a piece like that not for that kind of money.
Like, think about a team. Who is a team in the West that had no presence inside, and that would have changed things if they did?
Phoenix. Problem is, Phoenix doesn't have the money to give them. They got 3 max contract players.
They couldn't give them 15 a year.
They might be. How many years have you been in the league?
Hartenstein?
Yeah.
That's a good. I don't know. We don't have to get in the weeds.
Well, the thing is, he might be the mid-level exception. If he's barely a certain amount of years, he may qualify for that.
What do you think OG's going to get?
Oh, he's getting over 20.
He could get 30 a year, right?
He should get it. And the Knicks should pay it.
But what if
given the fact that you got Jalen Brunson at a bargain, you better fucking do it. Because you have the money to do it, so you better fucking do it. He is one of the top.
But see,
I would say
Brunson's eligible for
2 years. He's still 2 years away.
But he's eligible for
a raise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? You deal with that 2 years from now. Remember, the cap keeps going up and up.
No, but he can renegotiate. I think in this year
they won't do that because they want to get Anunoby back, and he knows he needs him. He'll do it.
Yeah, but so do you think
Brunson's not going to take the money over the team? He's making.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he will. In fact, I know he won't.
I'll be interested to see that.
That's not who his dad is.
If he does
that's not who his dad is. His dad wasn't like that. His dad he had a fucking loyalty to a fault streak in him. Brunson he's not perfect, but that's one of the good things about him. And I know. I butt heads with him.
But the Players Association might make you do it.
No, they're not going to make him do anything because he's a fucking all-star.
The Players Association has power to do shit.
Jalen Brunson is not going to jeopardize the future of that fucking team over $5 million a year.
Well, I hope you're
especially when they know he's good.
I don't think it's $5 million a year.
I'm saying it's not going to. He's got 2 years before his contract is even up. Okay, 2 years.
Dude, I understand.
They're not going to. Hey, let's rip this up now, and we got to sign it. No, they'll do it maybe at least 1 year out before he gets into his last year. They'll do it, but they won't do it when they have to sign.
Last year would be his last year.
No, he's going into his 3rd year. It's a 4-year deal. So
so if they wait till the next one, he'll be in his last year.
Yeah, you wait till the end of the 3rd year and you do it.
Going
into his last year, so he's not coming out of it and he doesn't have a contract. Now he's pissed. Okay, but the thing is, I think they can give him that home team maximum deal that other teams can't match. So they can outprice him and keep him, which, by the way, I would do I would do it. So, but that's the thing. That's 2 years away. Do it next summer, but you have to get Anunoby back. That's the bottom line. And if you got to overspend a little bit to do it, you fucking do it because they were 26-5 with him on the fucking floor, and you can't argue with 26-5.
Well, with him, Randall, and Brunson,
this is the other.
They were virtually unbeatable.
I'm saying the only team that beat him, I think, with that group was the Celtics. If they even faced him then.
No,
actually, they faced him. They didn't face him then. Yeah. So I mean, but the thing is, like, they were 26-5 with him. You can't ignore that. And you didn't play the Celtics, but you played pretty much everybody else. So that's something to be said for that.
So here's what somebody said about Brunson and his contract situation. Sounds like it's backing up what you said. What I've heard is that Jalen Brunson doesn't really care about being a headline money-making player as a free agent. He's not caught up in that stuff. He likes it here. He really wants to see this organization keep going in this direction.
And they hired his dad.
That's true.
And his dad can coach. His dad's been on the coaching staff before, but they threw him a bone because they weren't really looking for a coach. But like, you know what? We'll go get your dad. And the kid feels like he's in his comfort zone. So, and the Knicks did. That's a show of faith by the Knicks. They go, you know what? We're going to invest in you and your family. And Brunson's going to remember that.
And not just your family, players you played with.
Yeah, we get the whole Villanova connection in there. I don't think Jalen's gonna.
They're building around.
They're building around him on top of it. So I mean, no, I don't think he's gonna be able to fuck this up. No, he's not, and he knows how important it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I would say, and again, I'll say it again because I don't know how many votes he got, but he is first team All NBA defense.
Who?
Anunoby.
Oh yeah,
he is fucking first. If he is not on the first team, and the Celtics
had one, probably didn't play enough games.
But for the whole season, he was playing on another team.
I know, but he missed. You're only allowed to miss what? 13, 14 games?
17.
So I thought he had to play in 69.
65 out of 82.
65, okay.
65, so 17.
Yeah, I think he probably missed 17 games.
So he's right on the hill. All right, well, he's close. But I'm just saying, he's top 5. I'm not kidding when I say that. I've seen every great defensive player in this league. He is top 5.
He moves his feet. He's good with his hands. His arms are long.
I would argue at his position, he's number 1. And that's a position that includes Jaylen Brown and some guys like that can really get up your ass. Yeah, they want to get up your ass.
They'll get up in your shit.
Get up in your shit. He's fucking
dumbass.
I'm saying,
dude, I will say by far the thing that made me feel the best tonight. Okay, and thank you for saying it. Is when you said, in comparison, this would be as if the Celtics lost, and you listed all those guys. And if you go through every other team in the NBA, every single other team in the NBA,
just pick any contender.
And if they had lost, what the Knicks lost, they wouldn't have made it.
Any of the top 8 teams that were in the final 8, any one of them went through that, they're probably not.
And for some of
that includes the Celtics.
And for some of that they got the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Now that might speak to the East and.
Well, other teams were going through it. No. Look, Philly was banged up. Milwaukee was banged up. Fucking Miami was banged up. Think of what the 3 teams I just mentioned. And who they were missing at times. Okay, the East was not weak. The East was banged up. Okay, and to me, the reason I am upset is because I wanted the Knicks. I wanted the Knicks because if the Celtics could beat them, I know they could handle the physicality of Minnesota.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that.
Because to me, they're the 2 most physical teams, and Boston hasn't seen a team like that. And the Knicks, if they could get through them, then I know they can handle Minnesota. So now the Knicks are gone, I'm not going to get to see that because Indiana doesn't play that way.
They're front runners.
Yeah, I mean, so, Boston, we'll talk about this more in segment 2.
Just sweep.
We'll talk about this more in segment 2. But the thing about this is this. What the Knicks did cannot and will not be forgotten. Because, and again, there were New Yorkers that were saying, it's not just that they won, it's the way they won. They are a team that America could get behind. They're that kind of team.
Yeah.
They really are. They're that kind of team. And I can't stand it because they're in New York. But they're that kind of team. And I have to acknowledge it.
I was just talking to a guy I work with, and early in the year, I asked him, I said, do you watch the NBA? No. And then the other day, he comes into work and he was like, I actually watched the Knicks game the other day. And he was like, I was like, oh, I thought you didn't watch the NBA. He's like, this team, though, they're like one of the old teams.
They're an old throwback.
And it's like,
they're a throwback.
Yeah.
They remind me of the 87 Celtics. I can't pay them a higher compliment than that. I can't. Because that team was a dynasty. They won 3 titles in 6 years, but they went through something like this, literally just like it, and they just fought, kicked, and clawed. They went through the Pistons. They beat the Pistons. That's why they had nothing. They had to go through the Detroit Pistons to get to L.A. And it took them 7 games. That's where Bird made the steal and all this shit.
The Knicks didn't have to do anything like that.
No, but they beat Philly in a dogfight.
That
was a hell of a fucking series. That was one of the best. I will say this. That was one of the best first-round series in the last 20 years.
Easily.
That's a generation, Tom.
I can't think of another one.
Not that good. Not in the first round. Either conference.
I'm sure there are some.
Not on this level. Not in the last 20 years.
But
not on this level. This was a dogfight.
It didn't go 7.
It could have gone 7 though.
But my point is, I think that we could probably look back, and there's 1 or 2 that we're forgetting.
See, I was praying for 7 games, but he couldn't figure out why. Because if it went 7, it would undoubtedly be the greatest first round series in the history of the game.
We talked about that.
I mean,
you were praying for 7 because you wanted the Knicks to be depleted by the time
they were already depleted. That's the fucking point.
Well, they hadn't lost OG.
No. I didn't think they were going to lose OG.
They hadn't lost OG.
I wasn't rooting for someone to get hurt. That's not. No. I wanted to see 7 because if you remember the stat I threw at you, games 1 through 5, they were separated by a total of 2 points. I have never seen that.
Yeah.
I have never seen that in my entire life.
I remember bringing it up and saying, as much as I don't want a game 7, it almost feels like the series deserves it. 7.
And I'm happy that I predicted the Knicks would win, but I'm just like, damn, this would be better than 7.
Whereas this Knicks-Pacers series...
Can you imagine Game 7 in Madison Square Garden and they win that one against Philly? What that crowd would have been like?
No, I don't give a fuck.
Because it was in Philly.
No, because there's the possibility that this happens, what happened.
No, assuming OG's on the court, because he was, they win.
Okay, of course.
Because they win.
Then of course.
They win.
But with OG on the court, they didn't even need 7.
No, they didn't.
And man... I will say this: some of the most clutch buckets.
Yeah.
From, Josh Hart, of course, Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo with the fucking
DiVincenzo on 2 occasions pulled a Serrano where he nutted up.
Yeah,
he hit shots where he's like, my big ball.
He's turning around anyway.
Yeah, nuts. Fucking onions.
When he hit that shot, was it game 2? Against Philly?
I think it was game 2. Off the rebound, he kicked it back out to him.
And he turned around and he flexed and he was like...
Barkley said it. He's like, that took fucking stones.
Oh, yeah, to take the shot.
He's like, I got to tell you, he's like, I give it to that dude.
Yeah.
He didn't even flinch. Like, Barkley was giving the ultimate
he missed
compliment.
one,
He didn't even
came
think.
Right back to
didn't even think. Just jacked it up again. He's like, that took balls. Like, Barkley, that was cool of Barkley to acknowledge that, by the way.
Yeah, because
great players don't...
he hates New York.
No, but great players don't always do that.
Yeah.
But when that's what makes them them. So when they see somebody, they don't want to give it to him, but it's like, fucker's got it. He's got it. But Barkley's like, fucking that kid right there. Balls as big as church bells. That's the way he was talking. So,
dude, even Deuce McBride hit some big shots.
A lot of guys. Dude, and Alec, the kid off the bench.
Alec Burks.
This motherfucker wouldn't die.
That was crazy.
Every time Indy threatened to just throw the Knicks over the ledge, this motherfucker would throw a couple of jabs on the rope.
He would drive to the hole.
Guy didn't play the first 7 games of the playoffs.
No.
And then he goes
44 seconds.
Then he goes 5 consecutive games in double figures. Talk about nutting up.
I think he was what? He was like their
9th or 11th man. Like, who the hell is this guy? And
we haven't even talked about the fact that Bogdanovich broke his foot against Philly.
Another one.
Another guy that can get you 20.
I'm just saying, this is literally, think back what I said about the Celtics, the equivalent of. The Celtics wouldn't have got out of the first round.
Well, against that shitty Miami team, they might have.
No, they wouldn't.
That's true.
No.
Well, did Jaquez got injured in the final game of that series? But if he had been there the whole time and y'all had lost all that, they probably would have.
The thing is, they blow them out in game 1. They don't show up in game 2.
Yeah.
They get mad. They pistol whip him in game 3. It's like, what the fuck are you? Just drives you crazy.
What are you doing?
Like, why are you making this harder than it has to be? Like, actually, look at the New York Knicks. What's happening to them? Fucking guys are dropping left and right. What the fuck are you doing? It's like, so, but again, we'll save that for segment 2. This is all about the Knicks. So, in closing, I just want to say before we break for segment 2, New York Knicks, I salute you as a Celtic fan. You guys put a down my spine. You put a chill down my spine. And I have a feeling our paths are going to cross again in a meaningful way.
The old chill.
They did. They put a chill. I love the way. I hate them, but I love the way they play. I fucking love the way they play. I wish the Celtics would. If the Celtics, with their talent, would play
win a championship,
they'd never lose.
3 straight.
They'd go 82-0 if they played. If they had it's like the whole Rudy thing. I wish God would put your heart in some of my players' bodies. Fucking yeah, literally. I mean, so that's the New York Knicks. That's the ultimate compliment I can give them. They remind me of the '87 Celtics, and that team. That's the ultimate compliment I can give.
Dude, and I got to give the Garden fans some credit.
Yes.
Okay? Because I actually have shat on the Garden a couple times on this show.
The end was awesome.
But the fact that they started chanting "Let's go Knicks," they started chanting DiVincenzo. They gave Josh Hart a standing ovation.
They gave everybody a moment.
Yeah,
it was pretty awesome.
And
it was awesome. And then he's right about
when you take that gut punch and they're losing the game by 20, and you go, you know what? Even though you guys fucking
you're just on
couldn't
demand
do it today, we're still gonna salute you.
Yeah,
that was big on the crowd.
They knew because they knew.
Yeah, I know.
See, this is the best part about the Knicks.
But it's also beyond just because they knew.
We
actually love this team.
This is why
it's a true love.
Here's the thing. This is why the old guard sounds the way they sound, because back in our day there were tons of teams like this. There just aren't anymore. So when you see one like that, regardless of the uniform, you can't help but tip your cap.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They do it the right way. They do it the selfless way. It's the we, not the me. They don't give a shit. Okay? It doesn't matter. And whatever people say about their coach, fuck you. You know Tibbs.
Dude.
They back everybody.
Dude, but the crazy part is, it's not just the old. A lot of people. It's not just the old guard.
No.
A lot of people on Twitter
love them.
Are saying, "This is the greatest Knicks team in my life." Now I instantly go, "Hold the fucking calm down." But if you were born in 2000, shit. If you were born in the late 90s,
see Patrick Ewing.
You haven't seen a good Knicks team.
Yeah.
You know, so
98 was the last. They got to the final 98, right?
99.
99.
And then they got to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2000. Yes, and then that was lost. Yeah, and then just a cliff.
Yeah, cliff.
A complete cliff because
that cliff Max Kellerman was that Max Kellerman.
It was Tom Brady's. That was Tom Brady's cliff.
That was Tom Brady's cliff.
And went right off of it.
They did. That's very true.
But then it's also funny because it goes beyond the game. When you see people play hard like that and always giving it their all, you actually really love them. A lot of times with sports teams, you don't necessarily
but they don't
love
show
all the
that.
players.
They don't show that. These guys, they wore their heart in their sleeve.
I know that's what I'm saying.
That's the best thing about them.
But that's what that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why are you acting like I'm not saying that?
No, I'm saying you're not saying that. I'm saying
I'm saying they make you go, I care about these guys.
Yeah.
They give a shit.
I'm saying.
So whether they win or lose, I still feel good about that team.
Yeah.
Whereas not all teams are like that.
Most of them aren't. That's my point.
These assholes.
Most of them aren't. There's prima donnas getting their paycheck. They don't care about you after the day. They don't care. They come up for and they say all the right things. They're reading a fucking speech. They go, you better fucking kiss their ass. They're paying your salary. Yeah. But they could give a frog's fat ass about you.
But you can tell those guys aren't like it.
No,
they're all playing for each other and they're playing for the fans.
Yep.
And after the game, it was kind of cool. Brunson was leaving the stadium in his car.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of fans behind a gate.
Yeah.
He got out of the car and he walked up and he did high fives with all of them.
Yeah.
Josh Hart was leaving, did the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a connection.
I'm saying.
You know?
They're a lot. I can't stand it. Fucking a New York team is a lovable team. I want to throw up my mouth. It's fucking. They are.
I just hope they keep making smart decisions with personnel.
They are.
Because Leon Rose, man, holy shit.
And the worst part about it is I've got two connections to them indirectly. Tibbs was the architect of the Celtics defense that won the title. I love Tibbs. I always loved Tibbs. And then Brunson, who's a mass guy, I butted heads with him in high school. So and his son is their best fucking player. It's like, what the fuck?
His son is all fucking heart.
Yeah.
How could you ever hate on Jalen Brunson?
You can't.
My God.
You can't. I said he's got the best mid-range game since Isaiah Thomas. I don't know of a higher compliment you can give a small player in this league. Because if you haven't seen Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Pistons, you need to go fucking YouTube some shit. Because that motherfucker was the baddest little man I ever saw in basketball. And that's why Jordan hated him.
And I'll say this. Patrick Ewing, my favorite athlete of all time. And Jalen Brunson is close to becoming my favorite Knick of all time. After 2 years.
You can have more than one.
No, I'm just saying,
I got more than one Patriot.
I'm just saying, if somebody ever asked me, hey, who's your favorite athlete?
You say it's a tough one.
No, I'd say it's Patrick Ewing.
Okay. That's fine. It should be. He's a dream teamer.
But the fact that, all I'm saying is the fact that Jalen Brunson in 2 years is almost making me say he's my favorite Knick.
The turnaround, what he has done to that city.
He is amazing.
At the tender height of 6'1".
Tender.
He's right about there. 6'1", whatever it is, right? Anyway,
6'1". He's probably like 6'5". Everybody's like, he's 6'2". No, he's 6'1". I heard he's like maybe 6 foot.
The kid is literally shooting bolts of lightning from his ass right now. He's
William Wallace.
He's William Wallace.
But he's not 7 feet tall. He gets shorter.
He gets shorter. He's getting shorter as I get closer.
Jalen Brunson was 5'4".
I'm telling you, he is
an inch taller than Muggsy Bogues. He was MVP caliber.
Yeah, we had a guy like this briefly in Boston, little Isaiah Thomas, who was a lefty, who was so hot that year he ended up second in the NBA in scoring. He's all 5'9" of them, and we got to the second round of the playoffs and lost in the 7th game. And he was like Brunson, but he's super quick, lefty.
He was a little more athletic than me.
He was a little more athletic. He was fast as shit. He was a little bumblebee.
Yeah,
but he was tough.
Yeah, he was nuts.
He was tough as nails. And Brunson's just like him, and it's like, God damn it.
Well, they posted some stat about small guards taking their teams on runs.
Yeah.
And he posted on Twitter, I guess I'm not a small guard.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have him on the list.
Well, they think under 6 feet.
Well, how tall is he?
6'1".
Who?
Brunson.
No, I'm talking about your guy.
5'9".
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. 5'9".
Yeah, so they posted something about small guards taking their teams on playoff runs and didn't put Isaiah Thomas on there.
That's utterly ridiculous.
So he posted it on Twitter and said, I guess I'm not a small guard.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah, that dude was a bad motherfucker. Yeah. Injuries ended his career, unfortunately. But Brunson's right is just like that. So
I just hope his body can hold up.
This is the thing.
He makes some adjustments.
But this is the thing about the destination. Destination, you're going to get veterans. You're going to get depth.
Yeah, I hope so.
You're going to put a guy in there for 15, 20 minutes a night who can hold the. They're going to get guys like that.
Yeah.
They're going to get you watch. You watch. This team is not going anywhere. Trust me.
I wonder if Tibbs can learn to use the bench more.
If they're bringing those kind of guys in, he will use them.
But here's my thing.
Because the Celtics that won were 10 deep.
I understand.
We played 10 guys.
But
he was on that staff.
But everybody that came in, right, and helped get them to the playoffs played a pivotal role.
They did.
Alec Burks came in and was able to, and I'm not saying Alex Burks should have been playing all these minutes, but even 10 minutes a game just to spell somebody.
The thing is, you can make upgrades from that, believe it or not. You can add better.
Sure.
You can add better versions of that.
Right.
So
but my thing is like,
and I think you'll be able to.
Are you going to use it, or are you going to say, "Oh no, he's my 9th guy"?
Look, Tibbs will have a say if he doesn't already in what's coming into that locker room, and I think he already has a say.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Because they literally went out and found his guys. Like, they didn't fuck around. They went and found them fast because they knew exactly what they were looking for.
Everybody
and that
fits.
tells me he was in on it. And because those guys all fit, so they'll find more.
But that's my point: is that Tibbs has brought guys in and then not used them at all.
He used the Villanova connection. He used Hartenstein. He used
of course he used the Villanova
Bogdanovich until he broke. Look at if the guys that were healthy, he'd be playing. He'd have a 9-man rotation.
But what about Alec Burks, who comes in? What about Precious Achiuwa?
Alec Burks didn't play for 7 games. He was
exactly.
But he was the 11th guy on that roster.
But my point is this:
if those 4 guys are there, is he even on the roster?
Yes, he's been. They traded for him.
I thought he was the last guy on the bench.
They traded for him.
Okay, well,
they got him and Bogdanovich in the same trade.
They described
Alec Burks,
but Bogdanovich was the one who was supposed to do what this kid was doing.
That's not true. They were both supposed to. Alec Burks has good numbers. Now, Bogey has more of a scorer. But look, I'm not trying to complain about Tibbs, but I am thinking about the fact that every time they pulled some nobody, in quotation marks, off the bench, that nobody played well. And it's like, you've got all these guys playing heavy minutes. Regular season game, why don't you lower those a little bit and actually get these other guys?
They were trying to get the 2 seed.
Okay.
They were. And they got it on the last game of the season. Remember?
But these guys are good. These guys aren't scrubs, my point is.
Look, the point is you try and get the highest seed possible, get as many home games as possible. That's the number one goal when you get in the regular season. They had already lost.
It's a short-sighted goal if your team is broken down.
Look, no one thought Anunoby was going to get hurt in Game 3. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew Brunson was going to break his hand.
Or
Mitchell. When Mitchell got hurt in the playoffs too, right? When did Mitchell go down? He went down like first round or
game 3?
Game 3 of the first round or second round?
Yeah, because fucking Embiid hurt him.
Yeah. I mean, but that was Embiid's fault. That wasn't Tibbs. Embiid was a dirty motherfucker for that. That wasn't Tibbs.
No, I'm not saying that. Look, I wasn't trying to turn this into a whole Tibbs running these guys into the ground.
I'm just saying he has.
My point is just like Alec Burks played 44 seconds. In the first 7 playoff games, and then dropped double digits 5 games in a row. You're telling me this guy couldn't have given you 7 minutes off the bench here and there?
Again, maybe he was just lost in the depth chart.
Yeah.
He got in because you were down 4 fucking regulars.
I know.
If the 4 regulars are healthy, he doesn't touch the floor, and you know it.
I know.
Well,
my point is, throughout the regular season, is there a way to work all those guys in so that you take some of the workload off?
I don't think some of the injuries we're talking about could have been prevented by less. You can literally. I'm not even talking about this year. Let's just look out forward. Like, I want Jalen Brunson to be able to hold up through a 15-year career. Well, I'm saying
he's a little guy. At the end of both of these years, he's been banged up.
So will you tell me, is his backup on the roster right now?
Yeah, Deuce McBride.
Okay, then try and.
But then you also have a guy like Alec Burks who can handle the ball. But that's what I'm saying. Throughout the regular season, I feel like
then add depth at other positions.
Well, Alec Burks is gone, I think, after this year. So
probably earned himself quite a bit of money.
Probably with those performances.
Yeah.
Not $30 million, but
no. But veteran minimum 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10.
No, he might get more than that.
He might. Well, the mid level. The mid level is I think it's like 10.
10 million.
Yeah, is the mid level exception.
Alec Burks, $10 million a year.
10 million a year.
Jeez,
it's not bad.
Guy barely played this year.
But in the games he did, which are playoff games.
Well, but here's the other side of that coin.
What better measuring stick is there than that?
Here's the other side of the coin that I'll laugh at myself
but this motherfucker has nuts.
When Tibbs played this guy in the regular season, he was awful.
Well, there you have it.
I mean, he was.
Well, there you have it. You just answered your own question.
So they
understand why. Well, he was kind of shitty.
So they traded for Alec Burks and Bogey in the same trade, and Bogey was actually pretty bad too. But he showed some life. Alec Burks was god awful.
So he got a second chance and he made the most of it.
I remember.
Yeah, so well, Tibbs like, if you've seen this motherfucker play, I'm not putting him in a game.
But I think,
then he makes a shot.
But no, they were talking about. One of the announcers was talking about him, how he moved from Detroit. He left his family in Detroit. Like, he didn't have a good transition to the Knicks through the trade.
Another feel-good story on a feel-good team.
No, that wasn't a feel-good story.
It wasn't?
No, because he played terribly because he missed his family, and he was all out of whack. And that's why he fell out of the rotation.
Well, but that's a real thing.
Oh,
you feel for that guy.
I know. No, and then
he missed his family.
Yesterday, they were chanting Alec Burks, and his family was in the stands, and his kids were.
Yeah, because they had to come halfway from Kunta Kinte to come get him. Not Kunta Kinte. Where were they?
Detroit.
Was they in Detroit? They were further away than that.
Alec Burks?
I thought the family was further away.
He's from Detroit.
Aren't they from Canada or something? They come down from Canada is what it was?
Well, Detroit's right near Canada, so maybe they lived in Canada.
They came. They'd come down from Canada. They had like this whole thing about how far. Somewhere on this set is Big Pipey.
You changing the subject?
No, I'm saying he's responsible for what gibberish just came out of my mouth. Thing is,
is that from Roots?
The Knicks are America's feel-good story right now.
A lot of people hate them.
And idiots hate them. Because honestly, if you can't respect that team, look, you want to hate on Indiana? They've done.
Dude, why are you hating on my guy,
what?
Clyde Frazier?
I love Clyde.
Yeah, but y'all were talking about how
I love the wardrobe. I wasn't making. I love the wardrobe.
Where'd you buy that?
It was. I just said they went shopping together. I didn't say a name.
He's a fashion plate.
That was Joel.
Oh, that was Joel.
Yeah, I never said a place. I just said those two were shopping together.
No, somebody said what?
I didn't say they were like at the outlets.
What is he wearing?
Joel said that, and then the other guy was like, "What is he wearing?" I'm like, "Well, I guess those two shop together."
Which guy?
I forget the name of him, but he showed me the picture. Like, oh, he shops with him apparently. But I never said like, "Well, they shop at TJ Maxx or something like that. No, I never said that. I just said they shopped together because they were just very. It was pretty funny. So anyway, the Knicks should be getting their flowers today, deservedly so. And I hope that.
Still sucks they lost.
I don't hope they keep doing it because they're going to be a thorn in my side for years to come if they do. But I respect them, I admire them, and I salute them. And Indiana, you're very lucky. You're very lucky they got hurt. You're very lucky because if any one of those guys was healthy, they would beat your ass. So you got lucky. But look, the Celtics got lucky too. We'll talk about them and say we're going to preview the finals. Oh, by the way, a defending champion has gone down. Segment 2 coming right up.
Oh, and their coach, what a little bitch.
Oh, we're going to talk about him.
I remember when I said he was getting smug. You remember that?
We're going to address this.
I called that out a week or so ago.
We're going to address this.
I used to think he was brash. Now I realize he's smug.
Smug. We'll discuss smug after the break. Smug little fucker.